Hello. How are you?
Hello.
I'm happy to see you all. It's good to be home again.
Yes.
It's good to be home again. And it's nice of you to have good weather for me this time. You know? Yeah, I'm happy to bring it. When I went home last time, all I wanted to do was go home and lay in the sun, and there wasn't any. So, I just want some heat. It was a little cold, but I'm back, and I brought the heat with me. So today we're going to talk about visioning beyond the horizon, a transformative practice to align daily actions with long-term goals, releasing limiting beliefs, and how to connect with Spirit's highest vision for your life. Anybody interested in that? Yeah? Yeah? Together as a community, we're going to learn how to support each other in manifesting a future filled with growth opportunities and collective fulfillment. Robert says, yes. So, there's a story in Atomic Habits that James Clear talks about. And he says, imagine you're flying from Los Angeles to New York City. If a pilot leaving from LAX adjusts the heading just 3.5 degrees south, they will land in Washington, D.C. instead of New York. Such a small change is barely noticeable, but it makes a big, big difference. Imagine if you made a 1% shift in your life today, where you might be a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. A 1% shift. That doesn't seem so hard, does it? It's not like I'm going to set a New Year's resolution and I'm going to stop eating chocolate. That's scary, right, Davey? I'm going to stop. Right, it's not going to happen. Or Lent. Lent is another one of my favorites. You know what? There's a board that's holding it down. You have to pull the board out from the top, and then the window will just lift right up. All right, so it's like, how many of you were born in a religion that celebrated Lent? Right? You gave up something for Lent, right? It was hard, I'll bet, wasn't it? It was hard. I think about my friends who are Muslim, and during Ramadan, they don't eat, they don't drink, they don't participate in anything extracurricular pleasure making during this time of Ramadan. That means that if they're smokers, they don't smoke. They don't even drink water during this time. From the time before the sun comes up to the time after the sun sets. Imagine holding back from eating or drinking and spending your day praying when you're regularly used to, your busy schedule. A lot of these folks during Ramadan, when I worked with a lot of Muslims at Facebook, towards the end of that time, it was more of, I might work for a little bit in the morning and then I'm done for the rest of the day, because it zaps all your energy. Because why? Because they're up late eating and then they're up really early eating again, right? And oftentimes my girlfriends would be like, God, all we do is cook all night long. That's all we do, because we need to feed our families and feed our communities, and then we have to fast all day, and it's a challenge, right? But imagine if you just did a 1% shift. So I've lost the word, but in partnership with my Muslim brothers and sisters, often I would give up something during daylight hours. What is it that I'm going to give up to this today? Coffee. Well, that's easy. I drink decaf. But, for some people, that could be a really hard thing. Some days it was chocolate. I'm not going to have chocolate for a week during daylight hours. It's some days, there was different things that I would do to honor what they were doing too, because frankly, as I were doing it, it was longer days. They said, Eileen, if you're really going to do it in the winter. Wait a few years when Ramadan is in the winter months, right? But it's that 1% shift. That little tiny shift that will make a huge change in your future. So let's talk about how we do this. We do this through the practice of visioning. We do this through the practice of visioning. We had an amazing class, a visioning class, a couple of months ago, right? It was really fun. We had a really good time talking about visioning and what that means. It's not creating a visioning board, a vision board. It's not visioning our future. Like, I want the perfect car, the perfect partner, the perfect house, so I'm going to vision for that. That's not what visioning is. Visioning is sitting quietly in a meditative space and opening yourself up to the vision that is coming from on high into you. It's an opportunity to align our daily actions with our long-term goals. One of the things that we visioned for in our visioning class was where would our center be and who are we going to be in the future? We visioned for our space. What will that look like? How will it feel? We visioned asking what is it that we needed to let go of and what is it that we needed to embrace, and what came through was some really powerful stuff. We visioned for ourselves, our own lives, what was going on in our own worlds. And people had experienced shifts. The reports that I've heard back from people about these shifts have been magnificent. So let's talk about that. It's that power of small, consistent little actions. So when these actions are aligned with our larger vision, they create a momentum that just propels us forward. Michael Beckwith says, when the pain pushes until the vision pulls, is what he says. Pain pushes until the vision pulls, right? Think about if your long-term goal is to achieve optimal health. Your daily actions might include choosing nutritious foods, getting out for some exercise on a regular basis. You might be practicing mindfulness, right? Each of those actions, though seemingly small, they contribute to your overall vision of health and well-being. It's little actions that contribute to your overall health. So when we align our daily actions with these long-term goals, it requires that mindfulness and intentionality. One of the biggest habits that I had to change was eating while I was working. Eating while I was working. I'd find myself stressed out, so I would clench my jaw. So I found that if I could eat something, it would help relax that a little bit. And as I would get stressed and working on my computer, I realized that it wasn't carrots and celery and jicama that I was eating. It was chocolate and chips and nuts. Well, I mean, nuts are okay, but the amount I was eating wasn't, right? It was the junk that I was grabbing. Of course, I had a micro kitchen near my desk, so I can walk in and I can grab anything off of these racks of snacks and eat them. And I didn't feel good. Didn't make the stress go away. In fact, it kind of made it worse because I didn't feel good. My body didn't feel good. So I started to think about, what is it that I can do? What is it that I can do instead of this constant snacking? Oh, Eileen, get up and go for a walk around the building. Walk inside of the building if it's raining. Get up and go to the restroom. Splash some water on your face. One of my favorite things, if I was hot, was showers in the bathroom near my desk. I would go and get the shower and hose off my feet to ground myself with the water. It was spectacular. Like all these simple little things that I could do, that I wasn't feeding my body with junk anymore. What happened? My face cleared up. The weight started to fall off. I started to smile a little bit more, right? It's just the little tiny shift that I had to do, but I had to practice it. I had to make it a discipline, because could I fall back into my old eating habits? That's what happens when we make New Year's resolutions. A resolution is created to break, right? New Year's resolutions are intended to be broken because they're big and they're lofty. And we're filled with all these grandiose ideas. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this. And then we spend a week moving in that direction and it's exhausting. But if we make a little shift, instead of going to the micro kitchen, I'm going to bring my own snacks from home. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to squeeze a little lemon into my water because the water gets boring. So I need to mix it up a little bit. It's the little things. The other part was I had to address the internal barriers that held me back. See, when we recognize and release our limited beliefs, we free ourselves. We free ourselves. What was the limiting belief that I had when I was snacking at my desk all day long? I have too much to do. I have too much to do. I have too much to do. I'm the only one that can do it. Yada, yada, yada. I have to get this done. I have to do this. I have to do this. It was a high stress pressure job, right? I didn't have to do anything. I was choosing to be there. I was choosing to show up to this job every day. I was choosing to work harder than the person next to me because I wanted that great review. I was choosing to do all these extracurricular activities along with my job description. I was also doing all of these things over here. I was choosing that life. So when I recognized it and I was able to release the limiting belief that I have to do all of this stuff in order to be successful. That was huge. That was huge. How many things do you have in your life that is holding you back from living your best life? Lately I've been saying I have to, and is it you, Brigitte, that keeps telling me I get to? I keep hearing this voice in my head, no, you get to do that. Well, Brigitte, I got to do it. I got to do this and this and this. And she says, no, you get to do these things. See, this is when we rely on our spiritual support, right? Our friends and our community, to people to remind us of these things, right? So when we recognize our limiting beliefs, that's the first step towards liberation. That's the first step. It involves that self-reflection and the awareness and asking ourselves, what fears and doubts are holding me back? What stories am I telling myself that limit my potential? And once we identify these beliefs, we can change their validity and replace them with empowering thoughts. Oh, I get to work on this project. Oh, I get to go here. I get to do that. I get to receive. When you change it from I have to do to I get to do, everything changes. Everything changes. So again, we go back to, we align our goals, we practice mindfulness, and we embrace the practice of visioning. Now, what is visioning, you might ask? Visioning is about tapping into the higher wisdom that knows our true potential. Tapping into the higher wisdom that knows our true potential. That's that still small voice within. That's that part of us that always knows. Right? Visioning requires a quiet mind and an open heart, allowing us to receive divine guidance and insights. Practicing meditation is a great way to be able to get to that quiet mind. One of my favorite things to do before I vision is to sit and just do a breath-focused meditation. I believe I've done this here with you all, where you just focus on your cycle of breath, breathing in and out, and that cycle is one. And then you breathe in and out again, bless you, and that's two. 3. And as you do that, you allow any thoughts or any images to just continue moving through, right? Because they do. That's what our minds do. They just continue moving through. If we find ourselves catching it and going deep into it, oh, my laundry list, I got to get this done and I got to get this done. Oh, wait, hold on. Go back to my first breath. 1, 2. I used to teach this to the engineers at work all the time. There's days where I can't get to 2. And there's days that I'm still counting. I'm at 14. Oh, I lost myself so much. I went to 14, start over at 1. When you can get your mind to quiet, that's when you can start the visioning process. That's when you can start the visioning process. And you ask, what is Spirit's highest vision for my life? What is Spirit's highest vision for my life? And you just allow the answer to come. Sometimes it's a color or a smell, and it's an image or a word. If you're creating a laundry list, it's probably your mind. Go back to taking a deep breath, quieting your mind again, and ask, what is Spirit's highest vision for my life? And then you ask the next question, what is it that I must embrace to manifest this vision? What is it that I must embrace in order for this vision to come true? And you just listen and see what comes through for you. And then we ask the most important question, what must I release in order for this vision to come true or to be manifest? What is it that I need to release? Now, see, Michael Beckwith in his book, book on the visioning process, he talks about how beautifully, this is how he created his 5,000 member church, Science of Mind Church, right? He did it by visioning. He did it by visioning with 10 people in his living room. And they would vision for what is the highest vision for this spiritual center. What is it that I need to embrace? What is it that I need to release? And then they would write down the vision, put that off to the side, and then they would work with their prayer partner, somebody in that circle, to pray on what it is that they needed to embrace and what it is that they needed to release. Because that's the work. That's the work. The vision for the highest purpose of our life or our center or whatever it is, that's the vision. It doesn't have to make sense, but we have to do the work as human beings to get ourselves out of the way. To get ourselves out of the way. If I get myself out of the way, what happens? I get to do things. I get to do my projects. I get to send that email. I get to make that phone call instead of I have to. See, because if I have to, I'm in the way. But if I get to, I'm not in the way anymore. I'm allowing it to do what it does through me, as me. Right? If we just ask these questions, there are more to the entire visioning process, but if we just ask these 3 questions and listen deeply to the answers, trusting that the insights we receive are divinely inspired and aligned with our highest good, then we make that shift, that 1% shift towards something greater in our lives. I visioned a lot about what my ministry would be. I had no clue. I had no clue. All the way through my senior year, people would say, Eileen, what's your ministry? I'd be like, I don't know. I have no idea. No clue what it's going to look like. I thought I did. I had a plan. I thought that was my plan, but there was something that was like, not quite. And one of my friends reminded me that maybe you should start visioning. And I did. And things are happening. And I'm like, wait, how did that happen? How did you all happen? How did you all happen? How did it happen that I went house hunting and found a beautiful home and called my husband and said, honey, I bought a house? How did that happen? That I happen to live just a block over from Janet in the middle of the country, right? How did that happen? That Janet happened to invite me as I was guest speaking up here to go to the dog park, even though I didn't have a dog, just to meet her friends there. And now I've got a bunch of friends at the dog park. And a dog. How did that happen? I wasn't going to have a dog. I'm a cat person. And if you have been to the office with me, you've met my dog because he's always there. How did that happen? Oh, I visioned for it. I visioned for it. I asked the divine, what is the highest vision for my life? And y'all showed up. Y'all showed up. And now I get to be here. I get to be here. And I get to be a part of this. And we're visioning together about what is it that we want our community to be and how do we want to be on the coast. Do y'all want to do that together? Do you want to be a part of a visioning process?
Yes, ma'am.
Then let's do it. Let's do it. Let's start a visioning group. Y'all in?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to start a visioning group. I've got a couple of people that have taken the class, and maybe I can get them to help lead on sometimes. Maybe as long as it's not on Tuesday. Yeah, don't worry. I teach classes on Tuesdays. So let's do it. Yeah, Catherine, remind me to get that scheduled this week.
Absolutely.
All right, cool.
It's on my list.
All right. See, if we,
You get to do
I
that.
get to do it, right? I get to do it. And as we continue to vision and practice this, amazing things are going to happen. One of my favorite things that I talk about in class is that in visioning, I think I shared this here while we were doing the visioning class. We kept getting a pink balloon in one of our visioning sessions for practitioners in San Jose. We have no idea what the pink balloon was supposed to symbolize, but it kept coming up, and it kept coming up for multiple people. Multiple people would have in their visioning a pink balloon. We'd be like, why? I don't know. We didn't need to know. We didn't need to know. What we needed to know was what it was that we needed to embrace and what it was that we needed to release. So that whatever that pink balloon signified could come true. See, we had to get our bloated nothingness out of the way. We had to drop our egos at the door. We had to show up and say, use me, so that I can be the best version of me. Yeah? This ongoing connection with divine mind provides the guidance, support, and inspiration that we need to navigate our journey through life with peace and confidence and grace. When we go through life not connecting and not listening to that still small voice, it can feel like chaos. That's why we gather together. That's why we remind each other about all of these tips and tools that we mostly know, right? It's the reminders. Oh yeah, I haven't done that in a while. Every time I go to a different center, I hear something and I think, I haven't done that for a while. I should probably pick that one up again and just dig through my spiritual toolbox, dust some things off, try them again. So this week, let's come together as a community to embrace the power of visioning beyond the horizon, visioning beyond what we can already see, allowing spirit to show what it is beyond our scope of vision. Yeah? Yeah, we align our collective intentions with our shared goals. We can create a unified path towards a brighter future, right? I saw pictures of you all at the rally a week and a half ago. Was it last week?
The 5th.
The 5th. And what I saw of our community and the signs that our community had, they were positive statements. I saw you, Shelley. I saw you, Gail and David, right? I haven't looked through all of the pictures yet, but the signs from the people in our community were signs of stating positive change. Not I'm against this or I'm against that. It was about I am for something. To see signs that say a world that works for everyone, huh? Yes, yes, right? I stand for a world that works for everyone. I stand for a country, a planet, a community that serves everyone in beautiful and loving ways. And that's what we here at the Mendocino Center for Spiritual Living do, right? Right? So let's move forward with that in mind. Clearing our minds this week and asking those questions. What is Spirit's highest vision? What is it that I need to embrace? What is it that I need to release? And call your prayer partner, call the person sitting next to you, call your church bestie and chat with them about it. Have them pray with you and see what happens. Yeah? Let's pray. So knowing that there is only one power, one presence, one divine source that moves in, through, and around each and every one of us. Call it God, call it Jesus, call it Buddha, call it Muhammad, call it Mother Nature, Father Sky, call it whatever it is that you want to call it. That thing, that energy is source. And it is moving in, through, and around each and every one of us. It is the warmth of the sun and the sounds of the breeze. And it is as close as our heartbeat and our breath, as close as hands and feet. And it moves through us, speaking through us, allowing us, when we are open to it, to tap into it and receive that guidance that we often are looking for. And I know that that divine presence, that energy, that thing itself, it is joy, it is power, it is abundance, it is absolute perfect health, it is bright and prosperity, it is joy, it is light. It is all of these things that we are wishing for our community, for our country, for our planet. It is a world that works for everyone because it knows only love. So knowing that to be the truth, I claim and accept, I declare in this moment that each person that is looking for a healing receives it now. That each person that is looking for abundance in any of its forms receives it now. I know that anyone who is looking for more joy in their life, more balance in their life, more oomph in their life, that zest in their life, that they are receiving it now. Because that is all a part of that energy, that one source. And there is an unlimited supply. An unlimited supply of that which we are seeking. It's already seeking us. All we need to do is open up to it. So as we make that 1% shift towards something we want in our lives, a simple 1% shift, and move in that direction, we start to see and acknowledge and celebrate each new experience in our life that is moving us in that direction. We celebrate by gratitude every step along the way. When we notice, when we look up and we notice, oh, things have changed, we say, thank you, Spirit, for the gifts that I am welcoming into my life today. Thank you, Spirit, for all that there is. and more. And more for that I haven't even thought of yet. Thank you, Spirit. So as we align ourselves with it, we allow it to give us the gifts of the universe. We stand in gratitude. Gratitude. Say thank you, Spirit. Thank you for all that there is, for all of my gifts, and for everything that I get to give forward as a result. I am so blessed. And I am so grateful for all that I have. And so I release this prayer into the love mind, knowing that it is already done. That Spirit was saying yes, even before these words were spoken, and it has set that path forward. So I release this prayer, and if you will please join me in anchoring it by simply saying, and so it is.